아가씨,
아저씨 이게 뭐야? Hello everybody, Akashi here today. So, Perfume has finally come to an end with a total of 32 episodes. Ajushi and I finally finished watching it. I'm going to be doing recaps from episode 3 to episode 32 today with you guys. I've already reviewed the first two episodes with you guys only because we were able to only have enough time to watch the first two episodes for the first review of Perfume. So now I'm gonna be starting from episode 3 and on. And Ajushi is not here to do the review, but he did watch this drama with me. Of course, it's Shin Sung Rok, and we watched it for him. And I will be reviewing it with you guys, and then giving you guys our thoughts, both me and Ajushi, our thoughts on it, and overall how this drama is, and everything like that. So I will go ahead and jump into the recap now. Okay, so starting from episode 3 to 4 right there, this is when Min Jae-hee realized that her perfume lasts 12 hours and she has to reapply every 12 hours or she changes back to her old self. And so she already started to create a fake person for herself of her skinny version, and she called herself Min Ye-ring. She did like this, social security ID government search, and then she gave that to So-il, and she became his housekeeper for that, and he really likes everything she does. So he has like tons of phobias and allergies and everything, and then she's able to adapt to it and everything like that, and he starts to like her, but he doesn't really know why. So in these two episodes right here is when they start to learn about each other. He learns why she got kicked out of her house, and she says that it's because of her ex-boyfriend was mean to her and cheated on her, and therefore like she hates people being mean to her and using her. And so she just wants to earn her own living and do everything on her own. And then this is when we finally get introduced to Yoo Min-suk. His introduction comes in, and then he has something to do with So-il that we don't know, and the two of them ties back to their past. And So-il refused to make clothes because So-il is a fashion designer. He owns a fashion place and everything. He refused to do clothes for Yoo Min-suk. And Min-suk's like, if you don't do it for me, I'm going to tell everybody about your past and your ugly, dark past that you don't want people to know. So this forces him to have to suck it up and tailor clothes and everything, design clothes for Yoo Min-suk. And so in the meantime of all this, we get Min Jae-hee / Min Ye-ri. She wants to relive her prime life, and she wants to become a model again. So she approaches Han-jina and the director lady that works with So-il, and asks us to give a chance. And Han-jina gives her her chance that if she tries out for the modeling contest and she wins, she can be a model. But if she ends up running, but if she fails for it, it's her fault. There's nothing Han-jina can do. So Min Ye-ri is so happy, and she runs for it, and in doing so she runs into her daughter, and she finds out that her daughter Jin-kyung is also running to be a model, and it kind of like trips her out because she's like, oh my gosh, I cannot have my daughter in here with me or she's gonna recognize me, or why is my daughter becoming a model? And then at the same time we get So-il getting so suspicious on Min Ye-ri that he asked his secretary, Park Jung-young to do a research on background research on Min Ye-ri, and finds out that the real Min Ye-ri is dead, and he finds out that Min Jae-hee is using a fake name. So he's kind of like confused now, and he's like, oh my god, like what the hell is going on? Like I can't tell something about this, like depending about this, like she's dead. And then here we are, we have a Min Ye-ri with the same government ID working here with us. So it kind of like trips him out, and he starts to this secretary Park Jung-young, he starts to do his own investigation on who is really Min Ye-ri. So from episode 5 to episode 8 there, we get Park Jung-young finds out more and more about Min-yeori. He's confused and everything, and he approaches her and he finds out the whole truth, that she can transport back and forth between herself and Min Jae-hee, like the big self. And so he catches her being the bigger version of Min Jae-hee in So-doo's house, and she shows him how she was able to transform using the perfume. And he's like, no, I can't take this anymore. I'm gonna tell So-doo about it, but because you're lying, and who knows what you are. Like, he's like, is this the Marvel universe? But it's confusing, for the Hulk, he's skinny, he's tiny, and he turns big. This doesn't make sense. You're big and you turn small. Like, he's all confused and everything. And then as he was going to tell So-doo about it, Min-yeori begged him not to, and Secretary Park ends up spilling half of her perfume bottle, and she gets upset at him, and she stated that she only has a year left to live, but because he spilled half of the bottle, her life is shortened to 6 months. And he feared that he interfered with her, and he's going to be the reason that she's going to die. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna make a promise with you. I will not tell So-doo about your transformation and everything, but here's the thing, So-doo lives a very sad life, so I want you, after your 6 months and you become a model and everything, leave quietly and leave and cut ties and never ever speak to him again. And she agrees. So the two of them agree with this, and they keep it between the two of them that Min-yeori uses the perfume and she transforms back and forth and stuff like that. Now back to the modeling and everything. Min-yeori is finally entered into So-doo's company to do modeling and everything like that. And So-doo sees her as his housekeeper only, so he refused to let her pass to be a model. So he gave her 0 points so that she cannot pass. But she tells him that, like, she begs him that she only has a short amount of time left and she wants to become a model. So he thinks that she's ill and everything like that, and he's going to leave. So So-doo, like, he starts to have feelings for her already, so he decides to give her a shot at becoming a model and fulfilling her dream for her. And then we jump into finding out about Han Jin-nam, So-doo, and Yoo Min-suk's past. The three of them has a past together. Han Jin-nam and So-doo used to date back then, and now she is divorced. She has a husband. She's in the process of getting divorced. And back then, she also dated Yoo Min-suk to get back at So-doo, to get So-doo jealous, but So-doo didn't care for her and all this stuff like that. So there's like this triangle stuff going on between them. So it's like Han Jin-nam and So-doo dated, and So-doo didn't care about her, like he never showed any feelings for her to get back at him. She dated Yoo Min-suk and to get back at So-doo, but So-doo didn't care for her, so she broke it off between the two of them, got married to see if So-doo cared for her, but So-doo still didn't. And now that she's getting a divorce, Yoo Min-suk's like, come back to me, Nuna, I like you and everything like that. So it's just like these crazy all mess and everything. So from episode 9 to episode 12 right there, we get Jin-kyung. Min Jae-hee's daughter, she has finally found an old picture of her mother, and she realized that her mother looks exactly like Min-yeori when her mother was young. She suspects it's her mother, but she just finds it a coincidence that Min-yeori looks like her mother, Min Jae-hee, back then when they were young. So they do get Min-yeori, she gets to relive her prime young life, and she gets to hang out with her daughter Jin-kyung again, because back then she didn't get her, like back when she was her old self, she didn't hang out with her daughter because people looked on her that like, oh, look at you, your daughter's so beautiful, but your mom is fat and ugly. So she didn't want her daughter to feel like that, so she never hung out around her daughter. So now she is looking this skinny model looking one. She gets to hang out with her daughter, she treats her daughter to lunch, buys everything for her daughter. And then with doing that, her father, Jin-kyung's father, Kim Tae-jun, he sees that there is a model who looks like his wife when she was young. So he starts to see that, okay, this model, Min-yeori, she looks like my wife, so he wants to like get to know her and everything like that. And we'll get into why he's attractive and caring. Like, he doesn't care that his wife is gone now, he just wants to get a divorce, and he's now like, oh, oh, look, there's this young new model that looks like how my wife used to look like. And then we jump into a little, what's the word, entanglement between Min-yeori and Yoo Min-suk. The two of them got caught they didn't get caught. More so, Min-soo got caught into the scandal with Han Jina. So to cover it up, they used Min Ye-ri into a fake dating contract with him so that he can cover it up, you know, because he's an idol. They cannot have him dating getting into a scandal with a woman who's going through a divorce. It will ruin his career. So they use Min Ye-ri as a fake dating contract with him, and this gets So-Lee-do upset, and he keeps questioning it, and she can't reveal out to him that she's in a contract, and she needs to get out of his house so that she doesn't get So-Lee-do and entangled with him. But she can't leave because she signed a contract with So-Lee-do to be his housekeeper, and he has, in return, he's going to help her to become a model, and she cannot leave being his housemaid until she becomes a model. So it becomes like this whole mess, and they get like, now it's like tangled in between like all four of them, like So-Lee-do, Yoo Min-suk, Min Ye-ri, and Han Jina. The four of them are all tangled together. And then that's like the reason why So-Lee-do cannot handle having like Min Ye-ri and Yoo Min-suk together is because we find out here that he has fallen for her, and like he's falling for her, and it's making things complicated because now he won't let her go. And we also find out that Min-suk also has fallen for Min Ye-ri, so now Han Jina is out of the picture, and it's a love triangle between the three of them. So from episode 13 to episode 16, because of this whole love triangle and everything, and So-Lee-do cannot stand the relationship with Min Ye-ri and Min-suk, that he sends his secretary, Mr. Park, to go investigate in it of what's going on between the relationship. Mr. Park does find out that the relationship between Ye-ri and Min-suk is fake, but you know, he comes back and tells So-Lee-do about it, and then So-Lee-do is so happy, but they also find out that Min Ye-ri, the reason why she's doing this is she's covering it up so that Min-suk's scandal with Han Jina does not come up. So, you know, seeing that Min Ye-ri is doing all these things to cover up the truth from being revealed, So-Lee-do sees like a different light in her, seeing that she's not just trying to become a model. She's a very loving, caring person, and it makes him fall more in love with her. Now we jump into the husband, Kim Tae-jun. He's bothered by the fact that at the model agency with So-Lee-do and everything, there's a model over there who resembles the young version of his wife, and he goes and pays a visit. He finally gets to meet Min Ye-ri and is surprised that there's another person who looks exactly like his wife. And then so so like, you know, he tries to get to talk to her and everything, but she's pushing him away because she knows that is her husband that she's trying to get divorced from, and she hates, and so she avoids him. And then, you know, she works hard, she just like ignores everything, and then she goes and work hard because the World Fashion Week is coming, and she needs to get into being one of the top models in order to fulfill her dream. But she struggles with it because she's like, you know, going through this phase of everybody hating her, more so like Min-suk's fan is hating her because they don't like her, and so she's like, you know, at the bottom of all the contestants, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's struggling. And Min-suk, seeing that Min Ye-ri is struggling so hard and he loves her, he decides to use his fame to help her out, and it did not go well because Min Ye-ri wants to be chosen because of her talent, not because of her relationship with Yoo Min-suk. So she gets upset with Min-suk, and then we get So-Lee-do, who jumps in to help her, but he helps her in a different way, unlike how Min-suk helps her. He believes that like in working for like what you want, like it will make you, like working hard for what you want will improve you and everything like that. So he becomes like a good teacher with her. He goes through all these trouble of helping her, how to improve on her modeling, how she has to express her characters and everything when she puts on the clothes and everything like that. And then she does what he tells her. He becomes a good mentor and teacher to her, and she does really well. So she actually started doing well in the modeling contest, and she's making her way up within all the other contestants. And then we jump back into the husband, who is now chasing after Min Ye-ri, and she's like frustrated, so like he keeps following her and everything, and then like her time is like, oh my god, like it's running out, so she needs to like appear, she needs to go like change into being Min Jae-hee to go up against her husband again. So she changes from Min Jae-hee to Min Jae-hee, and then she gets into a fight with her husband in a clothing store, and she's all like, how dare you hit my daughter, how dare you do all these things, like, do you know you're not even a good husband, a good father, and stuff like that. And so they get into a fight, and So Lee-doo bumps into the two of them, and he saw Min Jae-hee, and she got pushed away from her husband, and he helped her, and not being he asked her if she was okay, and she's just like, and she's scared because inside of her she's like, oh my god, he cannot see me, because you know, if I transfer into Min Jae-hee, he's gonna know it's me. So she doesn't say anything, and she just like books it. And you're kind of like confused, because you know, So Lee-doo has all these phobia and all these crazy allergies and everything, but all of a sudden meeting Min Jae-hee, the big version of herself, he's kind of like, you know, 괜찮아요, are you okay, and everything like that. And she's just like runs, because she's like, oh my god, like, he can't see me, he can't know that I have this transforming thing. And then we find out the reason why So Lee-doo was so caring for her during that scene was Min Jae-hee was actually So Lee-doo's first love. Like, shocking. Like, she was the little girl from his childhood that saved him and from drowning, and she promised him that she will never forget him and she will recognize him in the future. However, she did not recognize him, which makes him really, really sad. And we jump into their childhood memories. They made promises together to each other that they will remember each other in the future, but she did not recognize him. This gives So Lee-doo a very broken heart and everything, and he decides to give up and waiting on Min Jae-hee. So all these years, like he said, 29 years of his life, he has been waiting on Min Jae-hee, his first love. And when he finally met her again, she did not recognize him. So he's like, you know, because you did not recognize me, I'm gonna move on and start loving Min Jae-hee, who is this other person that he's trying to fall in love with. And so yeah, like, it's just like crazy. You're like, oh my god, like, his first love is Min Jae-hee, you know, and you're just like, oh my god, like, no wonder he had all this phobia for everything else, but for her, he was perfectly fine. It's because she was his first love. And just when we get the whole thing that she's his first love, we get, on the other hand, another model. She revealed a video of Min Jae-hee and So Lee-doo saying that they had a thing together. Now it causes a very chaos between So Lee-doo, Min Jae-hee, and Min Suk now, that they are going to, you know, they're in this love relationship, love triangle, and creating all these things. And So Lee-doo goes to a press conference, and he decides to, you know, confess his love at the press conference. So we jump into episode 17 and 20 right there. That's when it continues on about So Lee-doo's press conference. He makes a confession that the three of them are stuck in a love triangle, and he's not going to lose Min Jae-hee to Yoo Min-suk. And we get revealed that Yoo Min-suk and So Lee-doo are half brothers. They share the same mother but different father. And so he's like, you know, I'm gonna fight for her too. I'm not gonna lose to my little brother. Now, after the confession of that, we finally get the introduction to the mother of So Lee-doo and Yoo Min-suk. Min Jae-hee is now in like a very difficult situation because of both brothers, so she needs a place to hide. So Yoo Min-suk hides her at his mother's place, and we get introduced to the mother, and she tells the story about how she got married to So Lee-doo's father, but she was in love with another man, and she waited for him to return. And once he returned, she left her husband for that man, and she became pregnant with Yoo Min-suk. So this is how it got So Lee-doo to resent Yoo Min-suk so much and blame Yoo Min-suk for taking his family away from him. So, you know, not like, you know, the mother did that, and that's how both brothers hated each other. And Min Jae-hee seeing this, and she does not want to she does not want to hurt both brothers, because they're already in a situation where they hate each other already, and they don't, more so Lee-doo doesn't talk to his mother anymore because he hates her too. So she doesn't want to hurt them. She decides to run away, and this causes Lee-doo to be sick trying to find her, and she comes back to make things, so she decides to come back to make things right between the two brothers and make them, you know, work again together and not fight anymore, love each other. Before she leaves, she makes her leaving because her perfume is actually running out now, so she's running out of time and everything. So she needs to work things out, situate things, fulfill her dream, and just leave so that they don't ever find her again. So because with Min Ye-ri coming back, Min Suk decides to move into So-woo-doo's house, and with the intention of getting closer to Min Ye-ri and also like going public about his relationship and everything. But she's like, Min Ye-ri is aware that both brothers are not willing to speak to each other, so she tries to create a way for them to overcome their hate for each other and, you know, get back together to becoming brother. So the three of them decides to go camping, and both brother resolves things between each of them, and we find out that like So-il was so fed up with his brother Min Suk for following him around so much when they were in elementary school that he decides to throw a prank on Min Suk, and he locked Min Suk in the school. But it let me rephrase this. So they hate each other so much, especially So-il. He hates Min Suk because So-il was a genius in school, and everybody says So-il was like the best genius, and Min Suk wanted to be proud of his brother, so he became like what So-il called a dog, following him around a lot, and he got so frustrated, so he locked Min Suk in the school and he ran away and for a couple hours, and he was gonna come back and get Min Suk. But when he came back to get Min Suk, he opened up his bag and there's frogs in there, and he had an allergy phobia for frogs, so he fainted and he ended up in the emergency room where he was fighting to survive. So that's what happened between both brothers, and that was the reason why both brothers like separated from each other and they started hating each other so much. So Min Suk didn't know that he pulled that prank on So-il and causes So-il to be like that, and because So-il was just trying to pull a prank on Yoo Min Suk, he didn't know that Yoo Min Suk also pulled a prank on him that costed him to never came back and save his brother from school. So that's what caused the two of them to, you know, be like that. So after solving, you know, kind of being okay with each other, both brothers and everything, Min Ye-ri decides to get So-il to go with an agreement to do therapy. So they both were able to get in, do therapy and get in touch with vulnerable sides that they have troubles with and everything like that. And it allowed them to accept each other and realize the difficulty each other were going through in each other's life and all this stuff like that. And what is it? What's the word? Doing this therapy, it got Min Ye-ri to start to accept herself, her real true self, with this Min Jae-hee, you know. So she's starting to accept that and understand that over her years she was unhappy and she was, you know, in rejecting and refusing to admit of her life and her wrong decisions and everything caused by her husband, making, you know, blaming herself and everything. She didn't love herself and she didn't appreciate herself, and so she realized that, you know, she just needs to get it straight and make herself happy. So she meets up with her husband again to sign the divorce paper. However, her husband refused to sign the divorce paper, and because he had realized that Min Jae-hee and Min Ye-ri are one person, that his wife can transform into her old self again, and this gets him to beg his wife that I'm not going to sign the divorce and let's work things out again. But she tells him that, like, you know, the painful life you gave me had caused me to wanting to kill myself, living hopelessly and not wanting to face life again. But with being apart from you and living a different life, I was able to appreciate myself for me, you know. So she's not really revealing out to her husband that she's, you know, she can transform herself, but she's pretty much saying that she's learning to love herself for who she is, not by her looks and everything. She's learning to appreciate herself, work hard at herself and everything, not by appearance. So she's like, you know, saying that to her husband, and she's like, it don't matter, I'm going to divorce you regardless. And then we get to see So-il on the side, that he has been secretly trying to find Min Jae-hee, and he found out about her married life, found out that her husband is a sick obsession with any woman who looked like Min Jae-hee 20 years ago. So Kim Tae-joo has this obsession over how Min Jae-hee used to look like in her younger self. So he has been dating any type of woman and models who look like his wife, and and then now the fact that his wife has turned into a big version and not pretty anymore, he wants to get rid of her, and he started cheating on her and dating other girls. So he's been doing that, and now he has found Min Ye-ri, who looks exactly like Min Jae-hee back when she was young. He reaches out to her to recruit her to work for him with his company on promoting a product, and he starts like saying that, like accusing her that I know that you transform back and forth, and I know that you are Min Jae-hee, and all these things like that. And he becomes like very obsessive, crazy, and just sick. And like So-edu like comes to the rescue and just like pushes the husband out of the way and be like, no, I don't want you near her at all. You're not allowed to touch her. You're not allowed to be near her. She is not going to take any job offering from you. Now going on to episode 21 and 24, with So-edu secretly investigating into Min Jae-hee's past and everything, knowing that her husband is this crazy, obsessive freak, old fart, perverted old fart. He pays close attention to Kim Tae-joo and keeping an eye on Min Ye-ri. But because Min Ye-ri's career has hit rock bottom, she has to take the job with her husband's company, so to advertise in a new product. So with doing this, Kim Tae-joo realized that he gets a chance to be closer to her, but So-edu is always around to protect her and everything, but he accidentally was not there. And so at the fan meeting and everything, all these photo shoot and everything, Kim Tae-joo walks into Min Ye-ri's fitting room and was accidentally took her perfume bottle, and this causes Min Ye-ri to change into Min Jae-hee, and she got caught by Yoo Min-suk. And beforehand, like, Min-suk gave a special clip to Min Ye-ri to wear, which he customized it just for her. And when when Min Ye-ri was changing into Min Jae-hee, she still had the hair clips in her, and she's like running everywhere, and Min-suk saw the hair clip, so Min-suk is now panicking because he's like, oh my god, I gave that hair clip to Min Ye-ri. Why is this Imoni having it? So we get to see a little bit of him like freaking out, like, oh my god, how is this even possible? Like, what's going on, And then, going back to Min Jae-hee, she ends up at the fan signing event for Min Ye-ri, and she's trying to find her perfume bottle back, which she knows that her husband took it. So she ends up playing his wife just for that moment to get the perfume back, and in doing so she ends up meeting So-edu, who was over there at the event. And So-edu gets really jealous because So-edu has done an investigation, and he found out that Min Jae-hee and her husband are getting divorced, but why are they acting lovey-dovey in front of them again, And then we get Min Jae-hee, she gets into a fight with her husband, and she gets hit on the head, and then she faints. So he's like, so it's this perfume that she came for. So he applies it on her to see her transform, but right before he was able to see her transform, So-edu saw the husband and wife fighting, so he came and knocked out the husband. And just then, like, he saw lights turns off, and he sees that Min Jae-hee is not in front of him anymore, it's Min Ye-ri. So he gets kind of like panic, like, what the hell, what did I just see? And light turns off, and Min Ye-ri wakes up, and she snatches her perfume bottle, and she makes a book for it, and then she gets changed, and she goes to her fan signing. And then like So-edu shows up and Min-suk shows up, and they're confused, So-edu is like, where did Min Jae-hee disappear to and Min Ye-ri appear? And Min-suk's are like, okay, the Imoni disappeared now, and Min Ye-ri is back, and they both have the same hair clip, like, what is going on? So both brothers are kind of like in a panic mode of like, what is going on? So the transformation is kind of getting revealed out now to people around them. So, throughout all these episodes, like, Min Ye-ri has never figured out that the little boy she saved back then was So-edu, and she finally figured it out, and she finally understands that So-edu was the little boy she once saved. And she goes back to her old house and sneak a box out of her old house and came back to So-edu's place, and in the box it's a drawing by So-edu and gave it to her. And she remembered that she told young So-edu that he is a good artist, he should become a fashion designer, and when he becomes a fashion designer, she will become his model. That's why So-edu is a fashion designer today, and he designs clothes, and his muse is Min Jae-hee, and so he's been doing all these clothes and everything, tailoring everything just to fit Min Jae-hee, who he had met back then. And so we get to find out that that's why he became a fashion designer, and Min Jae-hee finds out that she was his first love, and that's the reason why he is like the way he is, and he seeks out for her and everything like that. Now jumping to episode 25 and 28 right there, So-do was finally able to get in contact with Min Jae-hee, and he asked to go on a date with her. He shows off himself that he's a good perfect man at the date, but then he reveals his allergies and phobias, and he wants to be with her, you know, and then she rejects him, and then she hugs him until he passes out so that she can leave, and then she passes along a message to the Secretary Park, and Secretary Park goes along that like he knew all along that Min Jae-hee and Min Jae-ri are one person, but they end up working together because they need to get So-do to forget Min Jae-hee, so that once Min Jae-ri disappears, So-do will be able to live and give up his first love and continue living, you know. But like no matter what the two of them trying to do, try to break off So-do to forget about Min Jae-hee, he won't let her go easily. So, you know, he gets to see, like he asked to see her one more time, and he got information from Kim Tae-ju's ex-girlfriend about some money, that fraud or something like that he's been taking from his company, and he gave it to Min Jae-hee, and he said this is the only way for you to be able to divorce your husband. Since he refused to sign divorce papers with you, you might as well use this to get him to sign the divorce papers so that you can go free. So she uses that to get back at her husband, and her husband panics now, and like he's like, you know, okay, I have to do whatever I can to stop this so that I don't divorce her. Now we move on to Yoo Min-suk. He's finally back in the scene, and he's like panicking that you know, it is like Min Jae-ri, she can you know, transform and everything, so he decides to stay away from her, but then he makes the decision that, you know, I think he thinks that it's probably because she has like some problem with her, so he's gonna get her checked up and fix on the transformation. But Min Jae-ri's time is running out, so she's kind of getting fed up with Min-suk being childish and not knowing what to do, so she breaks it off with him and tells him to leave her alone. So we finally get to see her. She's starting to break up with one person at a time here and there as they get closer to the fashion week, so she did that so that she can, you know, be gone for good and nobody would ever remember her. So she decides to, you know, be herself, Min Jae-ri, and pretend to So-do that, you know, for one day, pretend that I'm Min Jae-hee and let's go do what's on your bucket list. And they decides to go do stuff on his bucket list and everything, and she gets to find out that at one point of So-do's life he wanted to suicide, he wanted to kill himself, but because he stopped because he had met Min Jae-hee once in his life again, and it gave him the courage to continue living, and that's when he really pursued to become a fashion designer, you know. And so Min Jae-hee, she's like, you know, Min Jae-ri, she's like, oh my god, she made the decision, I have to keep living on for him, because she realized that he's loved her for so long and she's falling in love with him now. So she asks Secretary Park for them to go searching for the Paradise delivery services, where they sent the package to Min Jae-ri, and they were able to find the 할아버지 who sent her the package, and they found out that this 할아버지, he has Alzheimer's or something like that, and he can't remember anything, and then because his company, the Paradise Delivery Services, went out of business, it gave him a really difficult time trying to live, and so he developed Alzheimer's, and now he can't remember anything. And then so Min Jae-ri, she had like given up on hope, but like she doesn't know what to do anymore, but at the same time she's confused because she's like, how did he end up delivering a package to me and from Paradise Delivery Services, but the company died years ago, and this package has no return service and all this stuff like that. So, you know, not being able to find out answers, she was really running out of time, so she decides to, you know, just break it off with So-do and not have any love relationship with him, and just focus on World Fashion Week, because that's all she wanted to do in the first place. So, you know, she decides to do that, and then just when, you know, things were going well, she meets with Taejun, and he tries to come and get the documents from her. And because he's all like, I can't let you have those documents, because if you have those documents, I'm gonna lose my job. They get into a fight, and he pushes her again, and she hits her head. She bumps to her head, and she faints. And he takes her away to his company, and he's all like, I don't care. I'm gonna sleep with her because she's my wife, and now she's like the hot young version of my wife. And while he was like taking her and running away, his daughter Jin Kyung actually ends up catching them, her father taking her away. So she ends up calling So Ido for help, and So Ido comes to the rescue. He beats up Kim Tae-ju, and Secretary Park stops them, and Secretary Park said, I'll take care of him, you take Min Ye-ri and go. And as So Ido carries Min Ye-ri out to go home, her body starts to transform, and she turns into Min Jae-hee right in front of him. So from episode 29 to 32, there, So Ido witnesses the transformation of Min Jae-hee, and he's so confused. And when Min Jae-hee wakes up, she makes a run for it, and she doesn't want him to ask question everything. It's just when she ran away from So Ido, she bumps into Min Suk, and Min Suk is like asking her to explain what's going on, but she's like, I don't have time to explain, so I will tell you guys when things are fine, so she makes a run for it. And So Ido comes to realization that like all along he's been deceived by Min Jae-hee / Min Ye-ri, and tons of people know about her perfume and her transformation and everything like that, but he decides to go, whatever, I'm going to accept her because she's one person and I love her, and I waited 29 years for her. So he makes like this big announcement report for her to come back for World Fashion Week, because they're gonna work together, and that was once their dream that he wanted to become a fashion designer so she can be his model for him. So Min Ye-ri returns, and she gets ready for Fashion Week, but complication happens during that time. Her perfume is running low, and she ended up being just Min Jae-hee for a day and not use the perfume so she can save it for the Fashion Week. And she ends up going into a coma, sleeping for like 6 days or something like that, and she didn't wake up. And during her coma, So Ido has found out about the perfume. He customized made it 20 years ago, and it was finally sent to Min Jae-hee. So 20 years ago, we get to see young middle schooler So Ido was going to approach Min Jae-hee, but he was too scared, so he followed her around, and she went to the planetarium where to watch a comet. And so that day, high schooler Min Jae-hee she broke up with her boyfriend, and she was sad, and she went to the planetarium. So we get like two sides of their story, and this big comet shoot, and it like exploded or something like that, I don't know. And then as So Ido was about to approach Min Jae-hee and like talk to her, Kim Tae-ju cuts in between the two of them, and he apologized to Min Jae-hee, and the two of them got together. So Ido witnessed them getting back together. He's heartbroken, and he's walking home, and he trips as he's walking home, and he finds a little red piece of the comet, and then ba-bam, a miracle perfume workshop appears in front of him. And so he like weirdly walks into the perfume shop, and he made the perfume that would match Min Jae-hee, and he asked the Harabuji to put the real red comic piece in there, and then he shipped it to the Paradise Delivery Services, but because that place got shut down, it never shipped, and after 20 years it was finally delivered to Min Jae-hee, and she finally got it, and using it she was able to turn into Min Ye-ri. So after finding that out, So Ido helps transfer her back into Min Ye-ri, and they spend the time they have left together participating in the World Fashion Week, and which they both dream for and everything like that. And before the fashion show started, her ex-husband Kim Tae-ju comes, and he's on the run now because his ex-girlfriend revealed his money fraud, stuff like that, from work, and then he comes and yelled that it was Min Jae-hee who revealed him out. So he broke the perfume bottle, and like Min Ye-ri and So Ido are like worried, like what's going on, but Min Ye-ri is like, it's okay, let's continue on with the fashion show because we'll be fine, we'll last for 12 hours before anything happens, so let's not worry about that. So they went on with the fashion show, and it was successful, and So Ido was going to perform after the the fashion show, but as he was getting ready to propose, Min Ye-ri disappears. So what happened to her was she opened the door to go meet So-do, but when she opened the door, a bright light shined to her and she enters and she ends up at the Miracle Perfume workshop, and she finds out that she was given another chance to live her life and appreciate herself. So her past, like, you know, she broke up in her past. She broke up with her boyfriend slash her ex-husband. She broke up with him already, and her path, her faith was supposed to forget about it and continue on and become a model. But she made the decision to get back with him when he asked for her back. She got back with him, she got pregnant, she gave up her modeling career, and she got married, and she gave up everything, and she became the bigger version of Min Jae-hee herself. And she lived a difficult life, and she calls herself her husband. In the beginning, the day when she hung herself, she was supposed to die, but the deity stopped her and gave her a second chance and delivered the perfume to her so that she can relive her life and understand that, like, you know, she needs to learn and love and appreciate herself, not by looks but her heart. She's a very good person at heart. So after realizing all this, she decides to, you know, go live her life. So she actually disappeared from everyone. And then we get 1 year later, So-do is still waiting for Min Jae-hee to return. He continues living, he gets over his phobias and fears as he continues to wait. And, like, you know, on the other hand, we get like Han-jina and Min-so, they make peace and they understand that, you know, Min Jae-hee and Min Ye-ri are one person, and that her and So-do had a past together and everything like that. They patch things up and everything. And then Min Jae-hee, she was able to get the divorce already, and her husband went to jail. Jin Kyung, you know, turned in evidence that her father was a bad person, forgave her mother, and understood what her mother's life was going through and everything like that, you know. And then So-do and Min Jae-hee finally met again 1 year later at the planetarium, where he received a letter written from Min Ye-ri to him. So a couple episodes back, like Min Ye-ri wrote a letter that was going to be shipped out a year later, and it got shipped out to So-do, and So-do read it, and he went to the planetarium and he met Min Jae-hee. So she got better, she never transformed back to the skinny version. She's herself, she's good and everything like that. And he finally proposed to her and she said yes, and they like, it ends like they're together and everything like that. So, like, that ends it for us for Perfume, a total of 32 episodes, you know. Honestly, Ajushi and I were really happy that, like, you know, they ended where So-do got his first love, who was Min Jae-hee, the bigger version of herself, because that's who he loved, you know. Like I was telling Ajushi, like, I knew it that they were going to end it with her, because when So-do was when he met her, finally, the big version of her, he was not afraid of her. He did not push her away, because, you know, how he is when other people, like, he pushes them away, he doesn't like them and everything, but he didn't. And it didn't matter that she looked like that. He loved her regardless. So obviously, he's gonna end up with her because he loves her regardless of how she looks like. So she's gonna return back to him looking like that, and he's gonna love her for that. And it was we really like it, really enjoy it. They had a lot of funny scenes, and So-do's character is so hilarious, and his, you know, the way he is and the way he talks and the way he just does things, and he's childish and all this stuff like that, and it was just hilarious. So we had a great run with this drama. We really like it. It was amazing. It's actually Ajushi's first time watching these other actors and actresses in there. He's seen Shin Sung Rok's acting, so it's his first time seeing these other actors and actresses, which I've seen them before. So we really like it, and we do really look forward to Shin Sung Rok's next drama, which is Van Gogh Bond, which we'll give it a shot to see how it turns out. But overall, that is the review for Perfume. If you guys have not seen it, do recommend it. It is a really good drama. It came came out. It's all done airing already, so do check it out if you have not. You will enjoy it. You will like it. It's hilarious. The laugh will keep you going on throughout all the episodes and everything, and it turns out to be a very happy ending. So we do like it, and we do love the idea that it's not about appearance, it's about loving yourself, and it gave a really good meaning to that. But that is it for today, and I will see you guys in the next drama review.